press in just a second. And so I will welcome you. Welcome to this Qualified Tutor Wednesday morning session. We love to run coaching sessions which provide helpful, insightful learning opportunities for our members. And we live stream them because we want other people to know what's going on in here, how we talk, what we're about, and how we support each other. I firmly believe that the professional development that we engage with improves outcomes for the children that we support. And I've seen it happen time and time again. I've also seen you guys in this room grow and flourish, and actually glow as well, especially when it involves being on a balcony with champagne. Am I right, Claire Torbett? So there has been, admit, all these lovely people. Nathan, you have brought some awesome people in this room today. Nathan McGurl is hosting our coaching session today. Nathan is the creator of Study Buddy, which is a fantastic tool that is actually in my office and supporting one of my kids. And there's also one in Odette's eldest's bedroom at the moment as well. So thank you so much for fixing our children. We appreciate that very much. At this point, I'm going to hand over to you because I know that we're in mega safe hands here. So off we go. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Julia. Hello and welcome, everyone. Great to see so many lovely little faces along the top. So delighted to be able to do this and to support Julia, Odette, Hannah, and the rest of the Qualified Tutor team, and do my own little bit to help them in their noble and single-minded quest to elevate tutors and the tutoring industry. So the session that we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to talk about, and hopefully you'll listen and get some stuff out of, is focusing on your website. Now, I'm making a whole manner of presumptions and assumptions that I probably shouldn't, but I have, in the interest of speed and time and delivering something that I hope is going to be useful to everyone. My virtual and proverbial door is always open though, so either through the Qualified Tutor community or directly through the website, I'm really happy to pick up anything specific or any challenges that there may be afterwards, and just do get in touch. So I'm going to switch screens, which in my mind is always so much more dramatic than it actually ever works out to be.
We all show our age when it comes to pressing the share screen button. We sort of slow down and concentrate.
It absolutely does. I'm squinting through glasses. I mean, I can see this.
Emma, I see you smiling there. The fact that you're 100 years younger than some of us is not fair and noted.
No, absolutely. I'm changing my lighting on the back of. I'm going to change the lighting on some of that because I think I need more of a Zaza Gabor filter. Which again is showing my age. Right. I'm concerned and conscious that you're live streaming this. Right. So I'm hoping that now what you can see is a PowerPoint presentation. And I can tell by the fear that's been instilled in some of your eyes that is the case. Because we've lost Julia, if I'm going to keep an eye on your pictures. So if anything seems to go wrong, if you could look panicked or let me know, then that would be great. So this session over the course of the next hour ish is going to be looking at, as I say, your website and whether or not it's working hard for you. Specifically, I'm hoping that I'm going to give you some useful stuff that you can take away and use on your own websites. One of the assumptions that I've made is that you all have a website, varying degrees of happiness and contentment with it. Probably some of you will manage your own, some of you will have external people who either started them or continue to manage them. All of this is about you as the product owner, your website owner, to make sure that it's working hard for you. What we're actually going to be doing over the... Oh, hang on. Why is that not moving? Ah, that'll be why. Excellent. I should say, so as part of my credentials, I am a nerd. My slowing down to share the screen doesn't reflect that properly. So over the course of this this session, what we're going to do is really briefly touch on my credentials, why I think I've got any kind of justification to talk to you about websites. We'll then look at your website, the role of it, and some of those sort of principles that you need. I'm then going to talk to you about a foray method, which actually I came up with and love it, which is why I'm going to share it with you. Something that you can be able to use and in relation to your own websites. I'm going to do this in relation to us some live examples, in particular to Helen. Now, Helen, I know that you're here in the room. I did try to get hold of you. In all honesty, I didn't try hard enough because we haven't spoken. And you look lovely, you look really friendly, and I'm going to hope the fact that I've not had a chance to talk to you about the things that I'm going to talk to about you is going to be okay. I'm really hoping that you don't hang up. Oh, I'll be fine, Helen. There's nothing overly upsetting, I'm sure. But I do have a little present for you at the end. So without further ado, oh, and then also some other people did pop into the chat on the community, their websites. Going to do a whistle-stop tour as much as I can through those, including Christopher's, who I can see you there, your website. It did come in at the 11th hour. It was a thing of beauty, so I did want to talk about it too. So I'm not just the study buddy. You're not meant to read all of these things. I've been picking over the bones of my career. It was quite alarming to know that I have got so many bullet points. As a careerist, my background's marketing. Everything I've done has been marketing, communications, advertising, branding, digital, human-centered design, that kind of stuff. And I started in PR on the back of a law degree, weirdly, at a time that the digital was just coming about. So FreeServe was coming in. Until then, for those of you who will recognize, Emma, you're not going to know this, and I can see you there, that the modem would squeak and beep. It's that kind of time that I'm talking about. Back then, we used to call it new media. Now we just call it life. So I've really grown up with that. And most of the stuff that I know is proper old-fashioned stuff. And what I find, frankly, alarming is that the new guard, as they're coming through, to my mind, don't always concentrate as much as they sit on some of those basic principles. We love the tech and we become enamored with what it can do, as opposed to really focusing on why we want it to do it. And that's really my gig. I've also, and I think fairly importantly, had the full spectrum of website work. So I've designed, I've actually built, whether that's coding or otherwise. I've project managed £100 million rebuilds. Honestly, the work. So I'm pragmatic as well as informed. I hope that sounds really big-headed, and actually I am a complete big-head, but I didn't want it to sound big-headed. So forgive my ego. But that was the old me. Now I am actually also the study buddy, and would always love to talk to you about those kinds of things. But this isn't about that. This is about you. So firstly, let's have a look at your website and let's think about what it's there for. Now, there are any number of good reasons why you would have a website. For many, it'll be lead acquisition. So I want to capture the details of people who are interested in my services. It can also be for, as we've got their reassurance. So someone has decided to go with you, perhaps because your acquisition process is offline. One parent tells another parent, you really should use Deborah for your tutoring because this, that, and the other. They'll then come to your website to make sure that actually that feels like it was the right thing to do. It could be that you're actually selling a service online, whether that's find a tutor, if you're offering a broader tutoring service, whether it's buying resources, booking times, those kinds of things. So there's an e-commerce journey as part of it. It could also be service. So coming on to actually fulfill the service that you're offering by going through a portal or doing the other bits and pieces. What it's not there for is just because you think you should. And it's not there because everyone else has got one. And it's not there because Facebook doesn't do everything I want to. Be really, really deliberate and considered about what it is that you're up to and why. Think of this in terms of the customer and think of this in terms of sales journeys as well. So it's about how this service that you're offering, your website, fits in the scheme of customer has an idea right the way through to sending the inquiry form to you. Also, your processes, does it work for you to be online and offline? Mapping it into that makes you much more deliberate. And being deliberate is absolutely key, because if you're not crystal clear about what it is that you want your website to do for you, then it's never really going to satisfy you in all of those ways. So we understand what it is that the website's doing. And as I say, it could be any number of those collectively, if not just one. We're clear. The next thing we need to find out is, who are we doing it for? So thinking about your audience, thinking about why they're there, this could seem like a basic kind of thing. And to be honest, it is, but it's something that so many of us leave out in the excitement of developing this website for the first time. But being mindful of who it is you're talking to and why it is they should be listening to you is absolutely of paramount importance to making sure that your website is a success. So thinking about your audience, the answer is not anyone who's going to pay for the stuff that I'm offering. That's absolutely not a good reason to determine an audience. What you do want to do is you want to be specific. And in being specific about who your audience is, we're not just talking about demographics. So I'm not just talking about parents in Bristol. I want you to start really thinking about their motivations. Parents in Bristol who are anxious that their children are going to fail maths is very different to a parent in Bristol who is super pushy and is determined that their little angel gets a 9. There are different motivations. There are different things that those audiences want to hear and different messages that you can deliver. Now, you might not be right for all of those audiences. And that's the other key part is, don't try to please all of the people all of the time. Be clear about what it is that you can deliver. A lot of this can be based on your existing customers. So you have customer bases because, oh, was that a question? No. So you have a customer base already. You can extrapolate from that the kinds of people that you tend to gravitate to. And when you're looking at your new customer acquisition through whichever process it is, you'll tend to find, I would imagine, people of a similar ilk. Because if your offline families are talking to other families and sending them your way, they'll tend to be in a similar vein, whether it's because they're at the same independent school or same social circles. So as I say, when determining it, basing on your existing customer is absolutely fine, but it's also fine to think more aspirationally if you wanted to target a new niche or a new area, or you can see yourself moving in a different way. Do it. Be clear though, because once you're clear, once you know who your audience is and you can absolutely identify with them, then everything will start to fall into place. And I do genuinely mean that. It's a determining factor for so much. The other thing that's really important, and I'm aware that I'm rattling through because I want to get to the meat of actually some processes. By rattling through this, I don't want you to think it's not important, because as I keep coming back to this core stuff that determines not just your website, but your email approaches, your business cards and literature, and all that other kind of stuff is there at the base. And absolutely then at that base is your identity. And when we're talking about identity in its broadest sense, what I mean is your purpose, and I mean your core values. This is stuff that I hope will be covered by other people before, that you'd have had a chance to explore this for yourself. But your purpose is what makes you you, and it's why you are doing the job that you're doing. Your purpose is not to make money. That might be a fringe benefit, but God knows if this was all about making money, I'd go back to pole dancing and dodgy clinical trials. It's not. It's about something else, and you need to tap into that to find out why it is that you're doing what it is that you're doing. From that, you can also extrapolate your core values. Now, for some of us, be sole practitioners, owner managers, your purpose and your core values will be relatively straightforward for your brand, because you are your brand as an extension of you. For those of you who are operating networks, franchises, or other, actually, it might be a little bit more complicated than that. But your core values really simply are the things that you would not give up for any money. It's absolutely critical that to you and your business that we live and die by this particular value. So one of the values of the Study Buddy is authenticity. So I know what I know, and the stuff I don't know. So I was thinking about this morning. If a school came to me and asked me to talk about well-being and mental health, I would say no. I would say no because there are better people out there to do that who could deliver it well. I also know that I'm a blagger by nature. I could probably gen up enough to throw together a few slides to talk about it, but it's not authentic. It's not what I'm about. I can talk about time planning. I can talk about revision techniques, all of those kinds of things comfortably. Something else, authenticity, absolutely cool. I'm going to say no price tag that I would say no to. Um, and I really, really want to mean that. So that's what we're going to go with. Authenticity for us. As I say, for you, think about it. 3 or 4, no more than that. And if you find yourself saying things that you might find if you walked into a bank, you've probably not defined them properly. This can feel a bit twee for some people, but I cannot overemphasize how critical it is that you spend a moment to write this down. Because if you're the kind of person who's mulling over what kind of color shall I have, and maybe I should change the style of this and think about the design of that, it's because you're not certain about what your identity is. And you want to be certain about your identity because other decisions then become easier. So write it down somewhere. Once you've got this, it's going to lead to other great and important stuff. So your tone of voice. Because if one of your core values is having fun and not taking ourselves too seriously, for example, then your tone of voice is going to be light. It's going to be conversational. It's not going to be stuffy, verbose, and loquacious. It's going to be relative and relevant to the kinds of things that you'll want to do. And then from that, your brand guidelines will flow. So if our core purpose is to help children feel confident in their abilities, for example, in a broader sense, and our core values are we can relate, we don't have fun, we do have fun, we always have fun, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Then, as I say, your guidelines are going to be conversational, they'll be chatty. You'll also be looking for colors that are light, not oppressive. You're not looking at something that's about achievement led. All of these kinds of things, it just makes sense when you look at it that this style, this look and feel belongs to a company that feels and looks like that. And for us as consumers, for your users, this is the very first thing that almost subliminally, or maybe perhaps absolutely subliminally, they'll take in, and they'll learn about you as an organization. Before they've read a single word, they will get a feeling about your organization from your website. And that's why it's so key. So I'm just going to share with you to show that this doesn't need to be an exercise where you need to get management consultants in. It's something you can do on your own. Always better to do it with a friend where you can, a critical friend, so you can talk it out loud. But by way of example, this is what we have at the Study Buddy. So our purpose is to help students fulfill their potential. It's not about the resources that we have. It's definitely not about making money. It's not about students who buy our stuff. It's genuinely and deliberately and purposefully helping students, all students, to fulfill their potential. In order to do that, the core values of the company: supportive, relatable, and authentic. And I break those down so that I understand what they mean, and that new employees can understand that as well. And then tone of voice. And this is the bit that becomes important for us and for when we're using it on the website. And this is actually taken from our brand guidelines document. Our words are important. Everything should sound like we've spoken it out loud, like a conversation. In practice, this means nice short sentences, everyday language, and clear. Even the way that we wrote about our tone of voice is in tone of voice. So it comes through in everything. The style of writing PowerPoint presentations, the documents that we put together, email approaches, whatever it might be, all falls within that tone of voice. From a cosmetics point of view, then created our purpose. We've got our values. We know our tone of voice, and then we work through some of the visual stuff. And again, just getting these down can be really, really useful. Can also be